Across our planet, rivers carve their paths, shaping the land and nourishing life wherever they flow. These ancient waterways are the lifeblood of continents, connecting mountains to seas and sustaining countless forms of life along their journey. Alongside these rivers lie floodplains, vast, flat expanses that act as natural safety valves, absorbing excess water during floods. These plains are dynamic landscapes, constantly shifting with the river's moods, expanding and contracting as the seasons change. These floodplains are among the most productive ecosystems on Earth, supporting a remarkable diversity of life adapted to cycles of flood and retreat. Here, plants thrive in rich soils, and animals find shelter and food in abundance, creating a vibrant web of life. Humanity has always been drawn to these fertile, flat lands, ideal for farming, building, and access to water. The promise of prosperity and abundance has lured people to settle and cultivate these areas for thousands of years. Many of the world's greatest cities have risen on these alluring plains, seeing them as gifts from nature. Rivers have provided transportation, trade, and a sense of security, making floodplains the cradle of civilizations. But this attraction hides a crucial truth. Floodplains are not empty land, but the river's own territory, meant to be occupied by water in times of flood. The river claims these spaces as part of its natural cycle, regardless of human plans. By building on them, we trespass into the river's domain, gambling with forces far older and more powerful than ourselves. Our presence here is always at the mercy of the river's will. We trust in levees and dams, believing we can control the river forever. These structures offer a sense of safety, but they are only temporary barriers against nature's immense power. Yet the river remembers its ancient paths. Its memory is etched into the landscape, and it will always seek to return to its rightful course. When heavy rains come, water seeks its old domain, and our presence turns a natural event into disaster. What was once a life-giving flood becomes a threat to our homes and livelihoods. The floodplain's true purpose is ignored, and our refusal to respect it leads to conflict with nature. We are reminded, time and again, of the limits of our control. Our cities, built on borrowed land, face the inevitable return of the water. The river's patience is long, but its memory is longer still. In the end, nature always reclaims its space, reminding us that we are only temporary guests on the alluring plains of water. Building a city on a floodplain transforms a living sponge, a landscape once teeming with life and natural processes, into a hard, unyielding shell of concrete and steel. The vibrant floodplain, which once absorbed and filtered water, is now covered by roads, buildings, and parking lots. We replace absorbent earth with concrete and asphalt, sealing the ground and stripping it of its ability to soak up rain. The soil, once alive with roots and organisms, is suffocated beneath impermeable surfaces. Rain that once seeped slowly into the soil now rushes off rooftops and roads, funneled rapidly into storm drains. The natural pause and absorption are lost, replaced by speed and volume. Our stormwater systems are designed to move water away from buildings as quickly as possible, channeling it straight into the river. The city's veins pulse with runoff, carrying water that has nowhere else to go. Instead of a gentle release, the river is hit with a sudden surge of runoff, often when it's already swollen from rain. The river's natural rhythm is disrupted, replaced by unpredictable torrents. It's like dumping thousands of buckets into a nearly full bathtub. The river rises fast, often beyond its limits. The pressure builds, and the water seeks any path it can find. The water, with nowhere to spread, spills over engineered banks and into our streets. Barriers meant to protect us are overwhelmed by the sheer force of redirected water. Our own infrastructure becomes the channel for destruction, as roads and subways fill with water, and vehicles are left stranded. By paving over the floodplain, we create the perfect conditions for disaster, trading short-term convenience for long-term vulnerability. What was once a natural event becomes a man-made crisis, as emergency crews scramble to respond and residents face the consequences. In the end, the river reclaims what we tried to take, reminding us that nature's balance cannot be paved over without consequence. Turning floodplains into concrete landscapes creates a dangerous new reality. Every paved surface accelerates water's journey to the river, overwhelming natural drainage. Wetlands and streams that once slowed and absorbed water are replaced by rigid pipes, efficient but brittle. During heavy rain, these systems are quickly overwhelmed, leading to flash floods. Water backs up, flooding streets and homes with alarming speed, even far from the river. The city, covered in hard surfaces, can flood itself. Drains and sewers, pushed beyond their limits, fail, causing widespread disruption. We've broken the natural cycle, silencing the land's ability to absorb water. Instead, we collect and concentrate it, creating a greater threat than nature intended. Our quest for convenience has turned a manageable process into a recurring crisis. The water still wins, but now the cost is measured in damaged lives and homes. Houston, Texas is a modern city built on a vast floodplain, crisscrossed by bayous. Decades of expansion paved over prairies and wetlands that once absorbed heavy rains. The belief that engineering could tame floods was shattered by Hurricane Harvey in 2017. The storm unleashed record rainfall, and the city's concrete landscape funneled water rapidly into the bayous. Drainage systems were overwhelmed. Neighborhoods and highways became rivers. The disaster revealed the hidden costs of ignoring the land's natural function. Wetlands, once seen as empty land, were vital infrastructure lost to development. The price was paid by ordinary people whose homes and lives were devastated. In Harvey's aftermath, Houston realized it could not simply build its way out of trouble. The city learned that living with water, not against it, is the only sustainable path. Nature's rules cannot be ignored. Sooner or later, the water returns. The most visible cost of building on floodplains is the destruction caused by floods. Homes ruined, businesses lost, and entire neighborhoods left in chaos. Infrastructure is crippled, with roads, bridges, and power lines rendered useless, cutting off vital connections and services. The financial toll is staggering, but the human cost is even deeper. Families are displaced, communities are fractured, and trauma lingers long after the water recedes, leaving scars that are invisible but lasting. Floods also destroy natural habitats, wetlands that filter pollutants and act as nature's buffer against storms, and support wildlife vanish under concrete, replaced by relentless urban expansion. When urban floods occur, water becomes a toxic mix, spreading chemicals, sewage, and debris, contaminating everything in its path and threatening public health. These environmental damages ripple far beyond city limits, harming rivers and seas, impacting ecosystems and communities downstream. The cycle repeats: build, flood, rebuild, each time draining more resources, time, and energy, and deepening our vulnerability to the next disaster. This reactive approach is unsustainable, trading short-term gain for perpetual risk and uncertainty. The true cost is not just in money, but in the ongoing fragility of our cities and the loss of natural resilience that once protected us. We pay for defying nature with every disaster that strikes. The price is measured in both shattered lives and a degraded environment that may never fully recover. Only by breaking this cycle and respecting nature's limits can we hope for lasting safety and a future where our communities truly thrive. The Netherlands offers a different story, a nation where much land lies below sea level, and water is a constant companion. Centuries of struggle taught the Dutch that water cannot simply be fought, it must be accommodated. Their approach evolved from building ever higher dikes to making space for water. The Room for the River program gives floodplains back to the river, creating safe areas for water to spread during floods. This reduces pressure on cities and lowers flood risk for all. Dutch cities now feature water plazas, public spaces that double as stormwater basins, and floating houses that rise with the water. Permeable pavements and green roofs help absorb rainfall. The Dutch have turned water management into an opportunity, integrating it into urban life. Their cities are safer, greener, and more resilient. By working with water, not against it, they've created a model for the world. The contrast between Houston and the Netherlands reveals vital lessons. First, we must respect natural systems. Floodplains are essential, not obstacles. Protecting and restoring these areas is key to resilience. Second, we need proactive strategies, making space for water, not just building barriers. Long-term planning and policy shifts are crucial, guiding development away from risk and incentivizing green infrastructure. The Dutch show that government policy can drive smarter, safer cities. Designing for resilience creates not just safety, but beauty. Parks, green roofs, and restored riverbanks enrich urban life. Living with water is not a compromise, but a chance for innovation. By integrating water management into city design, we build healthier, more vibrant communities. The lesson: cooperation with nature leads to lasting security and prosperity. To live in harmony with water, we must rethink city design. Cities should be seen as ecosystems, with natural water flows mapped before building begins. Green infrastructure, trees, rain gardens, wetlands, help cities act like sponges, absorbing and filtering water. Permeable pavements and green roofs reduce runoff, while rain gardens capture stormwater. In flood-prone areas, buildings can be raised or made water-resistant. Resilience means layering defenses. Parks, green roofs, and permeable surfaces slow water before it reaches levees. This sponge city approach manages water as a resource, not a threat. Innovation in materials and design supports this vision. By inviting water in and managing it wisely, we create healthier, greener cities. Water becomes a partner, not an enemy. Our journey shows the consequences of building on floodplains and the promise of working with water. Cities like Houston reveal the dangers of ignoring nature, while the Netherlands offers a blueprint for resilience. The lesson is clear: respect natural systems, plan for generations, and integrate green infrastructure. Floodplains and wetlands are vital, not vacant. They protect and enrich our lives. Our policies must guide development away from risk and towards sustainability. We face a choice: continue the cycle of disaster, or learn from our mistakes and successes. By designing cities in harmony with water, we protect ourselves and create places that are healthier and more beautiful. The future depends on our willingness to listen to nature's wisdom. By giving water room to move and breathe, we build true resilience.